Hey everyone, this is Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and FBA podcast. First of all, to answer Simon's question, yes, I am no longer in the fetal position. We are live, and I got my camera to work. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. But anyways, today we're going to be discussing the power of video testimonials and how to get them. We're going to be talking about how to use ChatGPT to help do this and help to refine your audience, how to launch idea versus creating a product and seeing if it sells. Also, we're going to be talking about what makes video testimonials and customer stories so powerful. So welcome. I know I'm late, but welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast.
Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm.
All right. So like I mentioned, today we're going to be talking about the power of video testimonials and how to tell your customer stories. Great topic. I love this topic. Our guest is the founder of the Influencer Army, and he is the host of the Table Rush Talk Show. He loves nothing more than to share his insights, strategies, and tactics so that you can use your customers' stories to increase your traffic, leads, sales, and conversions. He's obsessed with your customer stories and testimonials and how to get them, where to place them, and when to tell them, and how to use them. Our guest is Mischa. I'm going to get this right. Zvegintzov. All right, Mischa, you're going to tell me and laugh at me when I said that so wrong. It probably meant something completely different. But anyways, let's have a word from our sponsor, and we'll get right back with Mischa. This episode of Lunch with Norm is sponsored by SureGo Marketing. Ready to take your brand to the next level on TikTok and Instagram? SureGo Marketing specializes in helping entrepreneurs and coaches build profitable brands on TikTok and Instagram, and in less than 90 days. With SureGo Marketing, you could build your brand, create incredible video content, and increase leads without spending a single dime on ad spend. Visit SureGoMarketing.com today and elevate your brand. Now, let's get back to the show. All right. Where is my partner in crime, the mayor of Blunderville?
Hello, hello. How are you doing, Norm?
Zvegintzov.
You were very close, I think.
I'm trying.
Closer than I thought.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
Hey, so
what?
Oh,
go ahead.
Right. No, I'm used to you interrupting me all weekend. Go ahead. Even when I was on stage, interrupted me.
I gotta. It's my thing. Well, I just want to say a quick hello to everyone. Our Beard Nation. We've got Dennis, Marina, Simon, Red, and our Beard Nation that we actually met in person. Chuck, want to say hi, Chuck. How's it going? It was great meeting you in person. Glad that we were able to meet at SellerCon. And yeah, hope you had a safe travel back. And yeah, it was great seeing you.
Yeah, he was. And not only just at SellerCon, we were bumping into Chuck all over Austin. But anyway, Ed, yes, and Chuck, I don't know about you, but we had a very, it was an awesome party. Kevin King decided he was flipping the bill for this carnival party, and he hired like 20 or 30 circus performers, and it was awesome. Anyways, I've never attended a party like that, but it was great. Leave it to Kevin King. So one thing I did want to mention, Kels, I forgot to mention this over the last few podcasts, but it's, if anybody in the next week or two wants to go to Bali, Regina is having a very cool small mastermind. And I think Leo Scuvio is going to be there. Steve Simonson, Krista Verdi is going to be there. There's a bunch of really great speakers, top-notch speakers. So anyways, I think you're going to post it in the Facebook group. Yeah, I think if you're doing your job well.
Well, I'll get around to that.
Yeah, that's usually next year after the event. So yeah, thanks. Anyways, what do you got to say?
Anyways, make sure you smash those like buttons, give us a thumbs up. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so you get all the notifications for when we go live. This is a podcast as well. So if you want to listen on wherever you listen to podcasts, whether it's Spotify, Apple, Google, we're there. You can tune in as well. And yeah, we've got a great giveaway as well. And make sure you join the Facebook group, Lunch with Norm, Amazon FBA, and E-commerce Collective. We're going to be posting a lot in there. And yeah, if you're looking for updates, questions about selling on Amazon or e-com, that's where you can post that. But yeah, I think we can jump into it.
Okay, just one last quick thing, because I know I'm just looking over at Simon. Anybody from Europe heading over to the World Forum, the World Ecom Forum in Istanbul this week, let me know. I'm taking off on Wednesday to head over that way. And it'd be great to, I don't know if it'd be great to meet Simon again, but I don't know. Absolutely. It would be great to meet up with Simon again to have a beer or something, or a Diet Coke with him. Anyways, if you are going over that way, they're expecting about 100,000 people to attend this expo. So just wanted to let you know, and that information's in the group as well. But why don't we just get down to it? We're already, 15 minutes, so late into this. All right, 6 minutes in the fetal position. I'm up. I'm ready to do this. If you have any questions or comments, throw them over in the comments section. But now let's sit back, relax, enjoy a cup of coffee. I've got one. I need 2 or 3, but let's welcome Mischa.
Hello, Norm. So good to be here. And Kelsey, who just dropped off, but it turns out he's taller than he appears. That was someone's big takeaway from SellerCon. I saw.
Oh,
there it is.
Yeah. And I'm much rounder than I appear too.
You just edited that one. You didn't let that comment come through.
How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Yeah, I'm doing amazing, man. I'm really, I'm doing well, man. I'm in the state of, I don't know if you ever get there where the creativity is flowing and the inspiration is flowing and everything is working. I'm in that state right now. So it's a lot of fun for me right now. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. You know, this is one of my favorite. Anytime you talk about brand stories or, trying to bring out that creative visual component, I'm right in there. I've been working in brands forever. So when I saw the topic today, I thought, wow, this is going to be very cool. Perfect guest.
Yes, absolutely. I think I know. So here's the thing. I have been deep in the online marketing space for about 4 years now, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on coaching and, started my podcast and, been to networking events, funnel hacking live, all this kind of stuff, SellerCon type things. Quick, just to set that up. Before that, I was 20 years in sales, super successful at it. The bulk of it was in mortgage banking. I was a home loan officer, but literally my team and the team that I built, we funded about 1.5 billion in loans, and at an average loan amount of $500,000, that's a lot of loans, right? And quickly, so I retired from that business about 7 years ago to get my kids through high school, 8, 9 years ago, something like that. But 4 years ago, kids are grown up, time to get back in the game, want to embrace the entrepreneurial journey. And so just dove deep into the digital marketing arena. And now it's like, how can I bring all these old school telemarketing, direct mail, all the systemizing to get those phones to ring, to get people to buy. How do I bring that into the digital marketing world, right? And so, quickly after interviewing hundreds of people, I've got a podcast, I've done virtual summits. Like I said, I've been all over the place. People literally pay me. Someone flew me out to Ireland to interview all their customers so I could get the customer stories, right? I just have talked to so many entrepreneurs, both e-commerce style people, as well as like coaches, consultants, stuff like that. And it's very clear that people are not good at telling their customer stories.
Oh yeah. Or they make them. I mean, sometimes it's just ridiculous. You could be edgy, you could stretch it a little bit, but like to tell people you've climbed Mount Everest, dug down, 20 feet to get into this Himalayan salt mine. And I mean, they're crazy. They have to be believable. And it's got to show some of the passion of the brand.
I love that. I like to call it a heart-centered testimonial, actually. I'm very much, when I'm interviewing people, usually I'm telling them, I don't need the hype. I'm looking for the truth. Right. So when someone pays me to go get their customer testimonial, I'm like, how about take a deep breath? Right? Like, I just want the truth. I want to know, I've got what I call my customer story arc. So I want to know, where were you before? So what was your situation before you met Norm? How the heck did you meet Norm? And that can be a lot of things. I stumbled across him on his Lunch with Norm, podcast, or one of my clients introduced me to Norm, or who knows, right? I fell into his funnels.
Fell over him on the street.
Fell over him on the street, right? He's rounder than I thought. Sorry. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, and then it's like, all right, well, what's the transformation, right? And usually I'm not trying to dig into details too much. Like, how did you have the transformation? I just want to know, what was the transformation. So, and usually I'm asking, how do I want to say it? I'm just trying to get the customer to tell me the truth. And the way I frame it with the customer that I'm interviewing is, I'm like, look, I'm not trying to get anything that didn't happen. I really just want the story, right? And what's great about having a third party person do it, like me, is that it becomes very clear very quickly that I've got no agenda. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. It would be really interesting. I wish Simon could join us, because he's got a product that's fantastic. People want it for their kids. He's got a great brand. Celebrities are buying it. Royal family even bought it.
Yeah.
But to hear about his customer story, Simon, I don't know if you could even join us, but if not, that's great. Maybe you could just, I know that he usually fills the comment section with sarcasm, but usually, if you can, comment, that would be great to hear. Or if anybody else has their own brand story, love to hear what your stories are. And maybe we never talked about this. I was late, so we never got to chat before the podcast, but maybe we could even critique some of the brand stories if anybody's willing to share. I don't know. What do you think, Mischa?
That would be amazing.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah, I would love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So while we're talking about brand story, you're talking about be passionate, but don't be untruthful. Like, you can stretch it out a bit, show your passion, but what are some other elements of a really great brand story?
Yeah, that's such a good question. So I think, again, I say I think a lot, but it's more of I know. So great things to touch on the brand story are the epiphany moments, right? So I'm constantly, for things that I do, I'm noting my epiphany moments. So on my iPhone, for example, I'll use the Notes app, right? And then I will, when I have an epiphany moment, I will snap a picture of where I am, just whatever I'm doing. I could be out walking or sitting in front of the computer or whatever. I'll just snap that photo. Then I'll go in the notes section and I'll describe some of the emotions and feelings and such of that moment, right? And let's see. So let's say I have a customer. Her name's Shauna Stevenson, right? And she has a nootropic energy drink, but it's in packet form. It's called Elevate. Okay. So you can go to, I think it's crushyourday.com. Sorry, I should have had this more prepared, but you can go, she's on Instagram, whatever. Sorry. But, she tells of how that epiphany moment of when she realized, oh my gosh, I can create something that is actually this nootropic drink that'll transform your life, but it can taste good, right? So what was that? Where was that? Give me the details about that. Like, she's like, well, I was at a conference. Great. What was the conference? Who was sitting there? You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Trying to get some details. Am I answering your question? Let me ask that first.
Yeah, you are. And also, the reason I was laughing about Elevate. So Elevate has come up 3 times today in a forum. So it's Elevate is a aggregator that was just sold,
Oh,
but 2 other emails that came in with the brand Elevate, a different brand. Each one of these are different. And now you're talking about a fourth. So I'm going, okay, I either got to invest in Elevate or something's got to happen because it's just come up 4 times randomly.
yeah, I love that. um, I'll tell you what, when I talk about stories, I have what's called my story bank, and it's the Get Your Stories Together worksheet, and it's my 3-part story collecting worksheet. I got it right here. I'm so glad I printed it out because but basically we're trying to collect 3 types of stories. We're trying to collect our epiphany stories, our own aha moment stories. You know what I'm saying when I say
I
that?
like it. Yep.
Yep. And then we're trying to collect our customer stories,
Mm-hmm.
right? But then we're also trying to collect our, what do I call them? Your impactful people stories, right? So you've had mentors along the way. You've got, someone's walking down the street and they fall over Norm, and you guys have a conversation, but it changes the course of your life, right? I have those moments, right? So I'm trying to collect those too. So what I encourage people to do is start a story bank, start collecting their stories, take note of their stories. Again, on my phone, I'll put hashtag notes. You can't really see it, but I'll put hashtag notes. So I'll literally collect my story, put hashtag notes. And then when I'm searching later, I can just search the hashtag on my notes app, and then all the stories populate, and someone, oh yeah, that's a good one, that's a good one. And then we just start building the habit of when and where and how to tell the stories. And then that's so important for our for brand messaging, right? So I literally have so there's that. Then you also I like to talk about the 4 story arcs, or you collect, like, what are the main story arcs? For me, it's my life, right? For you, it might be for your brand. So there, for, like, if you were to write down the story arcs of your brand, there might be, inspiration to create the story or to create the product, right? Great. And then it's going to be, depending on where you are in your journey with your product or your brand or whatever, you're going to have those key arcs, right? And then you just line up the stories with those arcs. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And actually these so the 3 areas that you collect, let's go through them. So
Sure.
the first one that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay, on your list. What are the 3 that you mentioned on your list?
Yeah, so the 3 that were on my list were my stories. So,
Yep.
my stories. Let me find them. But give me 1 second. I'm feeling the pressure all of a sudden. I'm trying to, where's my glasses? But my stories. Anyway, yes, my stories. Go ahead. So here I have, these are my stories of my aha moments, key turning points, key experiences that have shaped your life, my life, that have brought me to this moment, right? So you want to touch on that?
Okay. And so then what I think was very important, what you were talking about, was talking to your customer.
Yeah.
So you said, my aha moments, then talking to the customer and getting what they think the brand story is all about, which is so key. A lot of the time you might think this is kind of like setting up your SOPs or building your brand culture, where it's from top down, but the person midway through has no clue what it is, or doesn't agree, or you're so off topic, or because it's driven into them rather than nourished, and they understand it. It's the same thing with the brand story. You might think you're thinking something along these lines, but because of your packaging, colors, look, font, the story itself might be giving out a completely different image. And then you go to that next level of, these people that had the moments, like, who were those people that inspired you. So those were the three different things, and that could all reflect back. And I mean, a lot of sellers don't even consider that when they're looking or launching a brand. But people, I'm just going to go back at Simon Day, but going back to a guy like Simon who had his aha moment. Did he go out and did he talk to all these people, like a lot of the people that bought the product? Did he survey them? Did he actually go out like you've gone out and talk to them? Pick up the phone. Like Sean Hart always says, just pick up the phone and call. And then who was the inspiration? And all around that, and we're going to get into this after the break, but putting all of that into ChatGPT and seeing, we'll talk. I know that's something you want to talk about, but this is it's so powerful. If you create the right prompt in ChatGPT with those 3 points, you'll come up with something really powerful. But we are at the bottom of the hour. I know it's really short because I was so late today, but anyways, we have a great giveaway. If this is the first time you're listening, it's #Wheel of Kelsey. And by the way, another at the bottom of the hour, my wife always brings me coffee, and thank you so much. So anyways, #Wheel of Kelsey, tag 2 people. Thank you. And you'll grab a second entry. But let's talk, Mischa, let's talk about what the giveaway is today. It's great.
Yeah, so I'm going to offer up a half an hour to 40-minute one-on-one consultation, and which is going to be amazing because I'm amazing. I'm super smart. I've got tons of experience, but basically we can talk about a bunch of things. We can talk about, hey, how can you capture your customer stories? You might think, hey, I'm just selling a widget that there's really no story behind it, but that is not true. We will find the story that you can start to speak to so that it will create more customer emotional attachment to it. And then also, there's so many great ways to get your customer story, even if you think you just have a widget. Because I'm imagining you've got people that the pushback that I would get is like, well, I just sell a t-shirt. There's no emotional attachment. Or I sell a chair. Or I'm selling, I don't know, a coffee cup or something. And so there's no emotional hook. And I would challenge you that that's not true, and that it just takes a little digging to find it. But that also, even if you're that more widgety space, there's all sorts of great ways and sequences, email sequences that you can set up to capture user-generated content, right? So like, hey, how do we capture that user-generated content so that if you're somebody comes across you on Amazon, and my favorite, whenever I'm looking for something on Amazon, and if there's a little video showing how it works, that's always the best, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you can get that from your customer, so I'll give you an example right now. I'm going to grab something.
Okay.
I have these Anchor batteries, right? Because I'm always got gear. I'm always filming stuff. And so, I searched whatever, best battery, and, Amazon Anchor batteries comes up. And then I click on the videos, right? There's the photos and the videos. And there was some guy that was like, oh yeah, I love my Anchor battery, blah, blah, blah. This is how I use it. I use Velcro and super easy, lasts forever, whatever, right? So how can we prompt our customers to give us that content so that we can leverage it and get more people to buy, right? That was a long answer.
So we have the consult, and then and Kelsey, okay, slap my hand or whatever. That we have it's the swipe itself, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah. So I have this great swipe file, and it's from Dick's Sporting Goods. And usually I'm not a super review kind of a give a review kind of a guy, right? But I went into Dick's Sporting Goods to get a visor. I was all into pickleball for a minute. If I was selling stuff on Amazon, I'd be selling freaking pickleball gear right now, is all I can say. But anyway, I went to get my visor at Dick's Sporting Goods, and the experience was so bad. Like, it was horrible, right? And it took me like way too long. I finally find the visor, like literally one of the worst shopping experiences I had had in a long time. It's bad enough that when the email came in that said, hey, how was your shopping experience? I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to give them a review, right?
Yeah.
And so it was so amazing. their email was like, hey, give us a review. And the prompt was so expertly written to give a review. And they said, hey, just click on this button and give us a video review. And it was set up that it didn't take you away from the email, take you to a new page. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was user friendly, kept you on the same page. But so that was great. And then the other best thing about it is it has the what do you call it? The disclaimer that's like, hey, we might use this video footage for our marketing or whatever. But it was so expertly written that I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. So I swiped every part of this sequence, and it's a swipe file. So we're going to make it available to your people. And it's at what's the link for it? Again, I'm giving you a super long answer to a super short question.
It's testimonialguy.com/norm.
Yes, perfect.
All right.
Go to www.testimonialguy.com/norm, and you'll have this amazing swipe file. You know what I'd use it for? If I was selling e-commerce products, I would be copying that. And as soon as someone hit buy, I would have it send an email saying, thank you so much for buying. As soon as it gets there, record you opening the package. Give me your experience or something like that. Why'd you buy it? Does that make sense?
That makes sense. So that's available for anybody. But so anyways, hashtag Wheel of Kelsey and tag 2 people and you'll grab a second entry. Now, Kelsey, let's go over to a sponsor. This episode of Lunch with Norm is sponsored by VAA Philippines. Looking for a high-quality virtual assistant for your business? With the rigorous screening, intensive Amazon and Walmart training, and ongoing professional development, get the peace of mind with skill and motivated virtual assistants for a long-term working relationship. Hire through VAA today, and now let's get back to the show. All right. So we left off just about, well, we just started talking about ChatGPT, and I know that's something that you wanted to talk about. Have you ever leveraged what you just, like the 3 points that we were talking about to help build your brand story? Have you ever used ChatGPT for that?
You know what? I sure have, actually. And gosh, there's so many rabbit holes to go down with ChatGPT, but I will do one. I'll start with this. I wrote this incredible sales letter. So I started this, the Influence Army, which is to, in effect, help entrepreneurs go on what I call an influence tour, right? So how would your life change if you guest spoke on 50 podcasts in 100 days? How would your business change if you guest spoke on 100 podcasts in 50 days? And not only any podcasts, but the podcast with the perfect audiences, right? So I crafted this incredible sales letter to encourage people to join my Influence Army. And I did this founding member launch, right? So I came up with the idea, and instead of building out the membership site, this was one of the talking points as well, is like, hey, float your idea before you build it, right? So I was like, I think people really need help, like getting their message out there. So I was like, hey, I'm going to build this membership site. It's going to be this membership. It's going to be amazing. We're going to support each other. I'm going to teach people how to go out and go on podcast tour. Who's in? And 28 people raised their hand and said, I'll pay you to teach me and to help you to be a founding member. Let's do this, right? So I took that sales letter, and now I know it works. It brought in all these people. So now I copy and paste that sales letter, and I'll tell you what the prompt is. Thank you for listening to that. Let me find the prompt quick. So now I have a prompt that I say, hey, ChatGPT, I started a membership. It's called the Influence Army. Here's the sales letter that I wrote to bring it in, which describes the customer. It describes the pain state. It describes the solution. It describes the whole customer journey. And I'll say, use that as the reference for this question. So now I get these answers that are incredible. So I write emails all the time, right? I'm like, hey, ChatGPT, I need to write an email to the membership. And here's my membership. Does that make sense? Am I making sense there?
Yeah.
Does that? Yep. So that's one way. I was going to try and find the prompt that I wrote. Here's another way. I think it's so important to get clear on our customer. And I noticed what a lot of habits that we have as people trying to sell things in the internet space is when we bullet point benefits, we're not actually talking about the benefits, right? So we'll say, hey, buy this battery and it lasts 6 hours, right? Well, that's kind of a bullet point, but what we really want to say is buy this battery because it lasts 6 hours. So in the heat of battle, when you're filming your last testimonial and you're freaking out because you think you're going to run out of power, this will save the day, right?
Makes sense.
So what I use ChatGPT for is I'll frame the customer, frame the experience, and I'll say, hey, I'm looking for the benefits that this will provide, and give me the benefits. And then it'll list out like actual benefits, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. And the more that you can put in about your company and you start these sessions, it's incredible how accurate it could be as well. But as long as it's defined, you have to put in the information. And one of the things, just one of the tricks that I'll use if I want to have a longer session, and first of all, if I want to have more information, so let's say it's not giving you enough about your audience, one of the simple things I use is just the continue prompt. And all of a sudden it stops. And I don't know if probably a lot of people have experienced this, but it stops. You want more information. It stops. What do you do?
Yes.
I'll continue.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It just goes on. Or the other one, if let's say it's giving you too much information, let's say, and I do this all the time with bullet points.
Yes.
So with bullet points, when I'm writing an Amazon bullet point, let's say I want benefit and then feature.
Yes.
But I might want to do a quick list of all the benefits that it just put up. Maybe there's 10 of them. And I'll just say prefix, just a list only with the prefix.
Yes.
And then you have just a simple list without all the crap afterwards. Or even the ... where if you want just short, concise information without it rambling, the the ... if you just put quote ... and quote, boom, done. And all of a sudden you get these short, very precise answers, which is really great.
I love it. Here, yep. I should have been more prepared, Norm, and your audience. I should have had all these prompts, knowing I was going to talk about them, sitting in front of me before I got here. But here, I'll give you an example. And this is, so I have folders where I put in all my, I save all the prompts and I start building on the prompts, right? So I continually, anytime I ask a question to refine, I note that, right? Because it's all about, right? And the more I can define my audience, the more I can define the voice I want to speak in, the more I can define the goal, the better, right? So this is what I call, this is the core. I literally have this labeled core setup for asking questions to ChatGPT. And then this is the core setup for asking questions to ChatGPT for TIA, the Influence Army. So I have this. I am building my success path for the Influence Army membership, where I am going to take heart-centered entrepreneurs on an influence tour, 4 months, and they will go from randomly being on a show, if any, to have guested on 50 shows, and now they are consistently speaking on 2 shows per week. I'm currently teaching weekly class workshops where I am teaching frameworks relating to this, and I'm hosting weekly class hot seat Q&As where they can bring their questions. See the attached sales letter I used to bring in my 27 founding members for the Influence Army membership. And then this is the key part. And then I'm going to ask you questions relating to all of this. The sales letter follows. So then I put in that sales letter, right, which tells the whole story. And then it says, great, thanks. And it validates me first. It says, that's an amazing sales letter. I'm like, anytime I can hear that, I'm super happy. and then I'll ask a question. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And have you ever done this? I mean, these are all things that, and this is why I love networking with people, but
Yeah.
the refer prompt. So take that, and what you're doing is, because you know how ChatGPT at this time of the recording kind of goes off. Like if the session goes too long, it kind of goes off path. Then you have to bring it back.
Yes.
It's a pain in the butt.
Yes.
All you have to do is refer back to the prompt.
Yes.
And then you don't have to type anything back. It's a training prompt. And that's another thing I learned that I think I'm pretty good with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
But the prompt that this, I haven't used it yet, but it's a training prompt. So this prompt helps you train your ChatGPT prompts for anything you're talking about, which is fantastic. So it's a self-teaching prompt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is always the toughest, is, oh, I got to type in all this crap again. And
yes.
And this, you don't have to do that.
I love it.
So I love this new, and I'll post it in the group. And Mischa, if you like, I know that you don't have the prompts right there, but if you do have any really cool prompts that you could think could help the group, feel free to give it to us afterwards, and we'll put it into the group. Or if you want to join the group and add some prompts, that would be awesome.
Cool. I have a really fun one that I'm using right now.
What's that?
Tell you really quick. So
all right,
kind of long. I'll try and read it fast. But basically, I publish 5 episodes a week for my podcast, the Table Rush Talk Show, and so what I wanted to start doing was having ChatGPT write my weekly email that referred back to the 5 episodes, right? So I could send out a weekly email to my email list, say, right? And so I was like, I wonder if ChatGPT could do this for me, because I'm having it create my show notes, my titles, my hashtags, right? I'll cut and paste my transcript and I'll throw it into ChatGPT, and I have the prompt. I'll say what that is in a second. So it actually does all that for me amazingly. But I was like, I'm already putting this information in there. What if I just took ChatGPT, and instead of creating a new prompt each time I had a new transcript, like a brand new prompt, right? I just did them sequentially under the one, what do we call that, flow? What would you call that in ChatGPT, where it stays on the same
session?
Yeah. There we go. Thank you. So I keep it on the same session. So I've started doing this, and it's amazing. It's literally writing my weekly email to my audience. So I put, at some point after I have prompted you to create podcast intros, episode names, episode summaries, encapsulated show notes, and the SEO-friendly keywords for each episode, all from podcast transcripts that I send you, I'm going to have you give me a weekly recap of the podcast episode transcripts I forwarded you and turn it into a newsletter. And I'll prompt you for that when I'm ready and give you more details about that at that time. For now, just look forward to my episode transcripts. And then I put, does that make sense? And do you need any questions answered at this time? So I did all that, put in all the transcripts, and I'm like, okay, I want my weekly newsletter. And it came back, which one do you want to highlight? Or like, do you want to highlight one of the episodes in particular? I was like, sure, I'll highlight the Shauna Stevenson one. And it was incredible. I'm just telling you, it's mind-blowing. Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's so many different areas that you can think about. Like I just saw Dennis's comment here about he helped me make a user manual.
Yeah.
Simple things that I don't know about you, but some people that are promoting AI right now, usually to promote their own course.
Yeah.
They make it sound like it's going to be so easy, but it is easy, but you still need, again, at the time of this recording, because ChatGPT or any of this AI is changing so quickly, but you really do have to put thought into the prompt and develop it. Afterwards, it's no problem. You just, just have to put in what other information, just have to replace some of the copy with the information that you need. But I know that a lot of the prompts that I'm writing, it takes me a bit of time to really craft it and then put it out there. But once you do, like Dennis, the next time he writes another user manual, it's going to take him a fraction of the time.
I'll tell you what, my favorite thing to use it for, where it was actually, I mean, it's sped up so much stuff for me. Which is amazing. Anything that I find I repetitively do where I need like a bit of something, a deliverable, like if I take that, it's what you're talking about, and like the user manual, if I just take the time to build out the prompt thoughtfully, bam, I can use it again and again and again. Right now, so me producing a podcast episode is so easy. Like I've got my prompt crafted, cut and paste a transcript with a prompt, and it's just like, it's so fast, it's ridiculous, right? But I think the real power is that the real power for me is to be able to refine my audience and what are their pain points and what are they trying to get to. Right. So if you have a product that you're trying to sell and you're like, I think this is who I want to sell it to. Like if you take some time and ask, like Chat GPT could literally be, the consultant, or I'm trying to think of the big advertising firms or the big marketing firms, right? Chat GPT can act like that person for you. So you could literally say, hey, so what I did, I was like, hey, Chat GPT, I think this is the audience that I want to serve, and this is how I want to serve them. But to be able to speak to them about their current pain state and where I want to take them to, like, can you describe that for me? Like, what are their literal frustrations, if that makes sense, right? And so, because me as a human, I can get super lofty and out there and miss the mark, and Chat GPT is the neutral third party that is like, oh, here's what they're feeling and here's what you can do to solve their problem, or here's what they want to feel like. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
So that's what I use it a lot for, is really to refine and make sure I'm on point with my brand messaging.
Okay, I know you've got a hard cutoff time. We should probably head over to a couple questions.
Yeah.
Okay, and so what we're gonna do, we'll have our giveaway without Mischa. So we'll just cover these. A lot of these are just comments too that I just thought we'd share.
Yeah.
From Simon, I would take my product to dozens of fairs, shows, and events. This is where I would meet hundreds of people and talk to them. Their reactions would shape everything that followed.
Love that.
So I think that's a great point. And then AMZ Elite, question for you. Okay, Mischa, plant pot story. How plant pots can change my customer's life? Do you have any ideas?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you told the right story, so my father, who passed away 12 years ago, I'm just getting the chills thinking about this, right? He loved his plants. And so when I see a pot and it's, I can't remember what type of plant it is, it triggers the love for my father. And if I saw that pot and that plant, I would buy it in a heartbeat. Right. And so your pots there are customers that you have that are buying your product where it's triggering a memory like that. Right. So it's like, start asking, hey, why did you buy my pot? Right. Like, it could remind you of a passed away parent, a passed away spouse. It could remind you of an amazing trip that you took. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It could be even something to do with the kids, just a family thing, like potting the plants together.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good one also for ChatGPT. It could, but again, it'd be interesting, Tom, to hear why you got involved, or the passion of it, or why did you get involved? Was it just another brand that you thought you could sell on Amazon? Anyways, yeah, we could get right into that. Yes. Okay. He's agreeing, I think,
All
with
right.
what you were saying.
And
Yeah,
then,
cool.
so we asked the audience what they're doing with AI. So we heard
Yeah.
from Dennis, and then from AMZ Elite. We have AI working group at startup starting this week. We're trying to figure out what and how can you help us be more efficient.
Yeah, I would answer that. I write all my prompts on I love Google and Google Drive, and so I have Google Drive, I have folders for specifically for chat GPT prompts. And so what I do is I start writing the prompt not in chat GPT, but on Google Doc so that I can refine it. Because I find when I go into chat GPT and start there, it's harder to make changes or things like that. So I think it's the starting point. So start with a separate doc where you can start crafting your prompts, and then you can cut and paste and see what works and refine from there. That
Yeah,
would be just like, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and if you have a naming protocol, you could easily create this into an automated system where once you got your prompt in there, so it could automatically go into that document, but it could automatically save into a type, like, again, naming protocol. So if it's an operations SOP, let's say, you have a certain code, either Zapier or whatever you're using could put it from the Google Doc into your Google Drive, and you can have this process where all your prompts are in one place in a very simple operation, which is kind of cool. The automated process.
All right. So I know we've got the hard cutoff time. It's 12:55. So I think that's it. Contact information. How can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. Go to I have this question. You'd think I'd be prepared. You can always find me at testimonialguy.com, www.testimonialguy.com. And yeah, so that's the best way to find me. You can also go to the Table Rush Talk Show, which is tablerush.net, and then there's a contact email there, but those are the best places to find me: testimonialguy.com and the Table Rush Talk Show.
All right. Fantastic. Well, Mischa, thank you for coming on. I know you got a hard cutoff, so I won't take up too much time. But anyways, thank you.
Indeed. Thank you, Norm. Thank you so much for having me on here. It's been a ton of fun and so fun streaming live and getting to answer a few questions from your audience. And I hope I was able to add value and bring some fun to the day.
You definitely did. All right. Well, thank you so much. And now just hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, tag 2 people, and you'll be able to enter into the draw with the consult with Mischa for 30 to 45 minutes. And we also have that secondary slide or email swipe, which Mischa provided as well. So anyways, let's have a word from our sponsor and then head over to the wheel. This episode of Lunch with Norm is sponsored by Rebate. Attention sellers and brand owners, want to reach more shoppers and boost sales? Rebate's platform connects sellers with shoppers seeking great deals on new products. They make it easy to offer promotions, handle rebates, and ensure seamless redemptions. With countless reviews from satisfied customers, Rebate is the go-to solution to increase your sales. Visit rebate.com today and start reaching more shoppers. Now let's get back to the show. Right. Kelsinator.
All right. I do see another Beardo that we met in Austin, so I just want to do a little shout out to him as well. Steve.
Oh, Mr. Filion.
I talked a lot to Steve this weekend, which was great. I talked about some travel, and yeah, Steve's been everywhere apparently. 96 countries he's traveled to.
He's like Kevin King.
Yeah. So good to see you, Steve. Thanks for coming in and saying hi. It's great. And let me see. I think we've got everyone signed up for the Wheel of Kelsey, so we should be good to go. So we'll head on over there and let's see who's the winner.
Button.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
All right, Kels, let her roll.
All right, let's shuffle these up. Give this a spin. And let's see who is the winner. It's gonna be Rad or Simon. It's
Rad.
Rad.
All right, that's a good prize today.
All right, congrats, Rad. You know the drill. We'll email you k@lunchwithnorm.com. Send me over your information, just your email, and we'll connect you with Mischa, and we'll be good to go. Hello, Red Beard. You caught us right at the end. Good to see you as well. Okay.
Yeah, like you say, better late than never. Okay, so thanks everybody for joining us today. Again, if you're out in Istanbul this week, I'm going to be arriving on the 8th, taking off on the 10th, and then heading over to the BDSS. I think it might be sold out, but I think there's 1 or 2 tickets left with the BDSS. If you want, just contact Kelsey. If there's any tickets available, we still have that $2,500 off. It's not an affiliate. We asked Kevin that he just give us the best discount possible, and that is an exclusive discount. So if you can make it, that would be great. Anyways, that's it today. I hope everybody had a great time listening to what Mischa had to say. Man, we could have talked a lot more. We were just getting into the AI stuff, and got some things happening in the near future that I'm going to get a survey going to see how much more people want to get into AI, and actually kind of creating a separate group, not only for e-com, but for just general overall business. Anyways, that's it for today. Like I always say, thank you so much for joining us. You can join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. I'm surprised my voice came back because it was pretty hoarse yesterday. And thank you for being part of the community. If you're not part of the community, head over to our Facebook group, Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA collective. That's it for us today. Thank you so much, and we will see you on Wednesday.
Lunch with Norm.